What if I told you one of the biggest scandals in football history was not about the players on the field, but the officials of it? Welcome to the story of Calciopoli. This is not a tale of match-fixing players, but rather a saga of deceitful management and corrupt referees, a stain in the annals of Italian football history. The year was 2006. The world of football was rocked by a scandal of such magnitude that it continues to reverberate today. This was Calciopoli, a scandal that tainted the beautiful game in Italy, shaking its very foundations. The shockwaves were felt across the globe, as some of the biggest names in Italian football were implicated in a scheme of match manipulation and deceit. This story is not just about the scandal itself, but the aftermath that followed, an aftermath that continues to shape Italian football and its perception worldwide. So buckle up as we delve into the intricate web of deceit and manipulation that led to one of the biggest controversies in football history. Our journey begins in May 2006, when a series of phone calls set the football world ablaze. Discovery of the scandal, now known as Calciopoli, was as unexpected as it was shocking. Phone lines hummed with frantic conversations, intercepted by authorities, revealing a web of corruption that ran deep into the heart of Italian football. The implications were far-reaching, the participants high-profile. At the center of it all were two men, Luciano Moggi and Antonio Giraudo. Moggi, the general manager of Juventus, was a seasoned veteran of the game, a man whose influence stretched far and wide. Giraudo, the CEO of the same club, was a businessman with a keen sense of strategy, a man who knew how to navigate the turbulent waters of football politics. The intercepted phone calls painted a damning picture. Conversations between Moggi, Giraudo, and a host of referees and officials suggested that matches were being manipulated, that outcomes were being decided not on the pitch but in smoky backrooms and over-hushed phone calls. The reaction was immediate and visceral. Fans were outraged, players were shocked, and the media was in a frenzy. Yet amidst the chaos there was a sense of disbelief. Could it be true? Could the game they loved, the sport that was so integral to their culture, be corrupted to such an extent? The very thought was inconceivable, but as the evidence piled up, as more phone calls were revealed, and as Moggi and Giraudo's involvement became clearer, the disbelief turned to shock and then to anger. The world of Italian football was being rocked to its very core. Scandal was not just about the corruption of a few individuals. It was about the integrity of the game, about the trust that fans placed in clubs, players, and officials. It was about a system that was supposed to be fair, just, and transparent, but was instead riddled with deceit and manipulation. As the phone lines buzzed, the world of Italian football was about to be turned upside down. With the allegations out in the open, the Italian Football Federation swung into action. Without a moment's hesitation, they launched a full-scale investigation into the claims that had sent shockwaves through the world of Calciopoli. The Federation's role was pivotal. They were the ones who had to gather evidence, navigate the intricate web of connections and corruption, and ultimately determine the truth. It was a task of monumental proportions, but one they were committed to seeing through. As the investigation unfolded, a mountain of evidence began to surface. There were wiretapped phone calls that pointed to a deep-seated culture of match-fixing within Calciopoli, behind-the-scenes deals exposed, revealing a dark underbelly of the sport that few had suspected. Then came the charges. High-ranking officials, referees, and even some of the most prestigious teams in Italian football, Calciopoli, were implicated. Teams like Juventus, AC, and Fiorentina, names synonymous with the sport, were caught in the eye of the storm. The evidence was damning. It painted a picture of a game that had been manipulated and distorted within Calciopoli for the benefit of a select few. The teams involved were found guilty of influencing the selection of referees in an attempt to swing matches in their favor. The investigation was exhaustive and unyielding. It laid bare the extent of the corruption within Calciopoli, leaving no stone unturned. And when the dust finally settled, the verdict was clear. Italian football, or rather Calciopoli, had been tainted. In the wake of the scandal, the landscape of Italian football changed dramatically. The fallout was swift and severe, leaving a mark that still resonates today. Teams implicated in this controversy faced harsh punishments. Juventus, the most severely penalized, was stripped of 2 Serie A titles and relegated to Serie B with a 9-point deduction. Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio, and Regina also received point deductions and fines, shaking up their standings in the league. Impact on the players and officials was equally profound. Some players left their clubs, their faith in the system shattered. Officials faced bans and legal repercussions, their reputations forever tarnished. The scandal stirred emotions and ignited debates about corruption, integrity, and the very soul of the sport. The long-term effects on Italian football were significant. Confidence in the Italian football system was deeply shaken, with fans both at home and abroad questioning the fairness of the game. The scandal also put a dent in Italy's football economy, with decreased revenues from television rights, sponsorships, and ticket sales. Yet, in spite of the turmoil, Italian football showed resilience. Clubs worked tirelessly to rebuild their reputation and regain the trust of their fans. Players continued to show their passion for the game, reminding everyone what football at its heart truly is. Calciopoli, a scandal that forever changed the face of Italian football, is still a topic of heated debate today. Certain years have passed, but the shadow of Calciopoli still looms large over Italian football. Discussions continue to swirl, debates rage on, and the controversy refuses to settle. The legacy of Calciopoli is far from forgotten, it's etched deep in the annals of football history. The scandal was a sobering revelation of the underlying corruption, exposing the ugly side of the beautiful game. It was a wake-up call, prompting the authorities to implement stricter regulations and robust checks to maintain the sport's integrity. Calciopoli also served as a grim reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and rampant greed. It underscored the importance of transparency, fairness, and the spirit of sportsmanship, values that should never be compromised. The repercussions of Calciopoli continue to reverberate, influencing the landscape of Italian football and beyond. A lesson learned the hard way, a stark reminder of the dire consequences of straying from the path of honesty and integrity. As we part ways, remember, Calciopoli is not just a scandal, it's a cautionary tale of power, greed, and the beautiful game gone wrong.